The question here is, how did human ritual sacrificial offering become so popular in Africa presently? How did the youths got so entangled in this type of ritual? Hello, welcome back to Breakage Barriers. If you're new here, my name is Blessing. Bear in mind, the youths are not the only ones involved in this. In fact, before the youths of Africa became so much involved in it, the adults, the elders in the community were already deeply involved in it. The youth just saw a loophole and an image to imitate. The elders in the community did it, and then the youth follow. And being humans, we imitate one another often, especially the young ones. When the young ones see how the older ones are living, they are bound to imitate. It's not usually do what I say, it is do what I do. If you want children to live a decent life, being an adult yourself, you must also live a decent life so that the younger ones can see you follow the footsteps of those who are supposedly adults, elders in the community, or as we call it today, idols to follow. Humans have become idols for other humans rather than human beings understanding how nature works, which is give and take. Whatsoever you sow is what you reap. When you plant corn, you reap corn. You don't plant corn to reap apple. When you do evil, you reap evil. When you do good, then you reap good. That's how the law of the earth works. It's like farming. So whatever energy you put out is the same energy you get back. And we are all energies, not just human beings. We all emit energies. So it is very important to understand our energies so that we can absorb back positive energies and not negative energies. There's so much epidemic regarding human rituals, and I want to be specific about the part of Africa I'm talking about today, which is the western part of Africa. But for us to be able to understand the root cause of this epidemic, whereby even the elders of the community are not confident enough or brave enough to publicly stand against it, probably one or two of them are also involved in such practices secretly. It is a practice that needs to be addressed and condemned, because we are talking about the life of other human beings here being at risk of kidnapping, murder, and so on. Even sometimes these ritualists use other people's possessions, such as clothes, shoes, to perform such wicked ritual for selfish purposes of getting rich. There are a lot of factors that contribute to human ritual sacrifices in Africa, specifically West Africa. And like any economist will say, there is no supply without demand. Wherever there's a supply, especially huge supply of any product, the reason is because there's high demand of that same product. For one to address the increase in supply of human ritual sacrifice is because there's high demand of it. Not just for sacrificial purposes only, but also as body parts. Body parts for those who are in the medical field. When a particular person's kidney fails, in order to save another's life, not everybody willingly comes out to offer their kidneys for another person. So because so many people are not doing it voluntarily, then we find that people go to different lengths to be able to get this supply. And so there's high demand, not just by the ritualist, but also in science. And this is what we have to deal with here. When one doesn't look at it in-depthly, then we think, oh, this problem only affects Africa, or shall we say, the western part of Africa. I believe it's a problem that currently affects all cultures, because for that part of the world, some of these human parts are being used for ritual purposes, and then for other parts of the world, these human parts for medical purposes, where you have surgeons looking for body parts of others to be able to make up for body part of the one that is in need of it. But how much is the human body part actually worth? Is anyone's life worth any amount of paper, which is called money? The money we have today is made out of paper anyways. Our lives as humans should be priceless. Hence, we cannot put all the blame on just the youths of Africa getting involved in this human ritual. Another point to this human ritual is cannibalism. And cannibalism, it has been existing for hundreds of thousands of years. According to scientists, the first cannibal found was about 900,000 years ago in Spain, and another one was about 100,000 years ago in France. Africa is a continent that's been through thick and thin, and one of the prominent example of the enslavement that went on in Africa is colonization. It was through colonization that Africa was defeated. This brought about millions of loss of life. I don't want to use that word with the K because YouTube does not like it. I'm going to be using the word loss of life. So it brought about millions of loss of life, and a new culture was introduced to Africans, a culture which is still ongoing, and Africa is still struggling to rid herself of. The likes of the Congo and Cameroon still suffer from humans losing their lives by the decapulation of their body parts. It's a very common ongoing occurrence in Congo and Cameroon. So ritual killing is deeper than anyone can envisage. It goes beyond African spirituality. It's as deep and as far back as the existence of colonization, which encouraged the loss of life of a lot of Africans by being kidnapped, and were encouraged to take each other's life if one does not follow the rules and regulation of the colonial master. The Africans were encouraged to take one another's life. In fact, if some of the Africans don't follow the rules of the colonial master, the Africans who disobeyed lost their lives right in front of their family members, friends, and relatives. So it's a culture that has been existing for a long time and is still ongoing. It's finding its way into religion, the African spirituality. So this ritual sacrifice practices, it's not just common to the African culture. It can also be found in so many other cultures. It's a practice that is embedded in evil, got high demand for it. That's why there's so much supply going on right now. There are great consequences in these practices, which is always detrimental. It's a practice that any reasonable, right-minded person, I mean, you don't have to be a religious person, any decent, right-minded person should stay away from, because there can be no good derived from taking another human being's life for selfish reasons like riches. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.